Hi guys, I'm Bhatty, and today's topic is about how to explain to a non-gamer what you do as a game developer for a living. We all know these situations. We all know people who don't understand games or game development at all. Maybe we have a distant family member. Let's call him Uncle Bob or Uncle Gary or whatever. Sometimes it's a person we meet on a vacation while we are traveling. Obviously not right now during the lockdown. And often what we are saying is, I'm in software development because it's less embarrassing. Well, actually, it's not embarrassing to be a member of the games industry. We are actually the leading form of media in the 21st century. Have a look at the numbers, I suggest. For example, in 2015, the total revenue of games was larger than of the music industry and the film industry together. Think about that, Uncle Bob. So you say something like, I'm a game designer. Oh, you make the graphics. No, I'm a game designer. So you're a programmer. No, I'm a game designer. So forget it. They will never get what you're doing. And trust me, don't start with game mechanics because they don't understand it. But what you can do is you can use something they know to explain what you do for a living. There are two methods you can apply. The first one is the movie making analogy, because most people have an understanding what a director does or what a screenplay writer does. Or they have some fancy ideas about what a movie producer does. Use the cliches and stick with the cliches. It's easier, trust me. The movie making analogy is pretty great. You can say, okay, I'm a game director, which is similar to a movie director. And then you can explain what you're doing. You come up with a vision as an author. You direct it to the team and you supervise the production as a producer. I know it's not in every company. The second part is the Napkin-RPG. And all you need for that is a napkin and a pen. And the Napkin-RPG method is one which is very, very good to explain what you do for a living. The Napkin-RPG is something you can do on your travels, for example. I tried this a few years ago on the journey. This is the original shot. And it worked marvelously. So guys, what I'm presenting to you now is for the occasional acquaintances who don't understand what you're doing. The aforementioned Uncle Bob or Uncle Gerhard, Uncle Gary or whatever they are called. Who don't appreciate what you're doing and they have no ideas. Maybe they have cliches from the 1980s about games. Okay. Now, with these two things, we can get started. What do you need? First of all, we don't need to explain game mechanics and all this stuff, because it's hard to explain for someone who's not playing. But what you can do is to talk about things they know. You need cliches. You need a tale everyone knows. And everyone knows Robin Hood. Everyone knows fairy tales and everyone knows about knights and princesses and raiders. And here we have our ingredients. We have a knight, which will be the player character. We have the raiders, our opponents, and we have the princess. The princess has been abducted by the raiders, and you are a knight. Oh, cool. Now we can rescue the princess. Stick to the cliché, because Uncle Bob understands the cliché. Now we need our player character, the knight. It's a knight, of course, he has a horse, and of course our knight has a sword, maybe a shield, maybe a backpack with something to eat and to drink, some torches, a rope. Now we have our player character. This knight has a strength and he has dexterity. And now we need our environment because we are creating worlds. And now we are playing a tiny RPG. Let's start in a village. There's a nice village. And we have our main road, there are some hamlets, some fields around it. There's the tavern. The tavern is a good place to start this adventure. And here our knight hears about the abducted princess. And he learns there's a cave in the mountains where the raiders dwell. Don't try anything fancy. Stick with the cliché, because they understand it. And maybe you are doing it after dinner, so keep it short. Now he has to travel from the village to the mountains. Let's say through a dark and gloomy forest. Can add some wolves for the atmosphere. I myself wouldn't kill them because they are shy animals. What you're doing now is the knight arrives in the mountains. It's a cave entrance. Now you describe the entrance of the cave. It's dark. And you can guide him to, oh, you have torches. Ask what do you do? Light up a torch. Okay, I'm going in. Now I can see something. You can work with sounds. Maybe he hears some rats, or maybe he hears some whispering because there are raiders hidden there. What do you do now? With these things, you can guide your player through the dungeon. And then you put him in front of a gateway. Maybe it's going to the left and to the right. Well, what do you do? Where do you want to go? Work with these questions. And then you can add some raiders, you can add some chambers, maybe a secret passageway which leads into a cave where the princess is locked up in a cage. There are the raiders, and there's the raider boss, and you have to fight the raiders, hence the sword. And our knight defeats the raiders. You can explain what you're doing with some dice, for example. Or you can just make it up. You free the princess, happy ending, and then they understand what a game is. And now, hopefully, they have more appreciation for what you're doing for a living. Well, that's all I have for now. If you like what I'm doing, I appreciate a thumbs up, and please follow my channel. Michael out. Stay safe.